Okay, we'll get this bus back on the highway here. So, I want to take you into our pre-show meeting. And it is very rare, as you can imagine. Rico is very different than me. And Rico very rarely uses the words hate or I'm going to root against or I want bad things to happen. Rico's very upset. So Rico has found a villain. There is a college football personality, player, coach, I'll let Rico tell you who, that has upset Rico to such a degree that he finds himself in what we're calling the Mikey world, where now the man who is more apt to quote Bible scripture than ever a cuss word is now openly rooting for a healthy demise.
Yeah, healthy.
I am not saying that Rico wants to see bad things in a unhealthy.
I don't want to see a season-ending injury. I don't want to see a Joe Theismann-like accident.
We have that on the record. I want you to tell the people who this is.
I want his career to go the way of Ron Paulus.
All right. Oh, he's going to win 2 Heismans.
Right.
Signed Beano Cook.
Right.
The point is, it creates something that you are now finally experiencing, something that most fans like myself are versed in, a failure index. That there is an athlete that while your team has never played them and probably never will, you find a player at such a level of disdain and you don't even know why. That is where you have arrived at.
Yeah, for me, it's Shedeur Sanders, Colorado quarterback. And while we're at it, you can throw his father, Deion, in there. Deion was one of my favorite players in the NFL. Not anymore, because I would think that Deion would be the adult, but I get to that a little bit later. But Shedeur Sanders, Mike, we watched the video of him going to class for the first time to see what it's really like for all these people who go to class, and he takes a camera crew around. He's so just non-attached to everything that is college football. So The Athletic does this article, because remember when Deion first got there and he came in saying, you know, basically I'm kicking people out. I came in with my own players, my own Louis luggage. So The Athletic followed up with the 53 players who left the team, and one guy was on there. His name was Xavier Smith, and he was just kind of talking about, okay, well, you know what? I never really got, Deion never came and talked with him. Here it is. I actually was getting mad, like tears coming to my eyes because, bro, you never even tried to get to know me. That's what he said. Xavier Smith said about Deion Sanders when he came in there. So he leaves and he goes, Shedeur sees this. And rather than, look, we've all experienced people leaving and going someplace else in the portal. It happens. But then when Shedeur comes out and is like, bro, I didn't even know who you were. So you must have been mid at best. What are we doing here? Because Shedeur, last time I checked, this offense was set up for you to succeed, but you didn't. Your father fired everybody who supposedly couldn't fix you. You were told to just take a sack rather than throw an interception because it would hurt your completion percentage. And, oh, by the way, you won as many games as MSU did last year with a failed coach. So 4. Even though you started off winning your first 3 and then water found its level and you were a joke. You were a joke as a quarterback. You got Deion saying, well, he's going to be a top 5 pick. Oh, because Deion did come back because, people were coming after Shedeur for saying that. And it's like, dude, Shedeur, you're supposed to be a quarterback. You're supposed to be a captain. You're supposed to be a leader. Okay? This is not leadership material. Deion then claps back on social media, which I don't know why he's doing this, saying my son's going to be drafted top 5. Where's your son going to be drafted? Oh, boy. Is this what we're doing now? The Colorado president and athletic director have to be saying to themselves, what have we done? What are we doing here? We invested all this money in Coach Prime. He's going to be the detriment of Colorado football. Yeah, so now you trick people into coming there, and those who leave, you just throw under the bus. If the kid was no good, man, I'm looking at you, Deion. You couldn't fix him. But your son coming out here saying all of this stuff, like if everybody leaves a school, it's just the way it is now. For this, and Shedeur, who already was getting overhyped, people acting like he was the next coming. I'm watching his Colorado games. I wasn't impressed at all. It's gotten to the point now, I just want to see you crash and burn. I want to see you lose. I will take joy in watching the Buffaloes get beat game after game after game. That's what I'm rooting for. Do I want him hurt? No, because that's going to be an excuse of why the Buffaloes lost. No, I want him in there taking every snap, getting beat week after week after week. That's where I am. Shedeur Sanders, Deion Sanders, the whole Colorado Buffalo, hey, look at me program. That's everything that's not college football.
It's stunning, isn't it? When good Christians go bad. I'll tell you, it's great to hear just anger out of Rico and vitriol. No, you're not wrong. Look, I was fine with the idea of Deion Sanders. The idea of it made sense. The idea was different, and it was counterculture. It was against the establishment. He was going to do it a new way. I think what I've seen a year and a half in is like, okay, this is a parody. He's gone from purpose to parody. Mm-hmm. We were told he was coming in and he had the best interest of players in mind, and he was going to be a role model, and he was going to – dude, this guy has turned this into a clown show. The social media stuff, the transfer portal, he's not recruiting anyone. He hasn't gone on a single recruiting trip. That's insane.
All right. Oh, by the way, Xavier Smith, somebody put his stats up, and Deion quote tweeted his stats saying, good Lord, because he didn't have great stats last year. Like, Deion, once again, you're making fun of this kid. He left your program, man. Let it go.
So who is your Shedeur Sanders? That's really what I'm asking. Rico has now identified his, in a sports sense, public enemy number one. Listen, in many ways, Shedeur does represent a lot of what's wrong with college football. I don't know the young man, and I don't care to, but when you're driving a $400,000 car and you make a joke about going to class and putting it on video, and you're firebombing teammates who leave, and your body language is pretty GD awful when I watch college football and I watch your games, and you don't like the way things are going, it's a very much so, I'm not the problem, you are attitude. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hard to like.
Yeah, Daddy, I wasn't completing enough passes. Fire the offensive coordinator. Get rid of all these offensive linemen. They're just getting in my way. So,
David, you're smiling, and I would love to know where you're at with it. I'd love to know where people are at. Who is your version of this? I mean, Rico's feelings towards Shedeur and Deion. Again, this isn't a divisional rival. This isn't a Big Ten team. And I get it, though.
Because I was watching it, Mike, like you, like, okay, maybe Deion's going to be this difference maker. I was a gigantic Deion Sanders fan. And it's each day I'm just like, I don't like you more and more, Deion. And now I'm looking at your son like, you're a Hall of Famer. Your son's not even in the Hall of Good yet.
Well, the problem,
and he thinks he is.
He's also already saying the only places his son will play, and You're like, what?
Like, okay, you're cocky, Deion, because you've already made it to the mountaintop a couple times. Your son? Yeah. You want to talk about mid? Huh? That's your son. Not that great. It's not. David, he will take a sack before he throws an incomplete pass because he's thinking about his pro career. He's not thinking about college. He's not trying to win a game. I'll just take the sack or do something. So, yeah. 248-539-9797.
I mean, Rico is exasperated. He can't even find his words. Go ahead, Dave.
No, I was going to say, this was supposed to be a positive thing in Colorado, and it's become everything but positive.
It's toxic. Let's
Deion
just call it.
No,
lift
David, kids up.
David, see, it's toxic.
Now, he don't even want to hear from you. He is exasperated. Rico is yelling at clouds.
Sorry, David.
You are out of control.
It's toxic. Let's just call it what it is.
But
when somebody leaves your team, you wish them well, and you just go forward. You move on. You go to the portal and find somebody else. He's going to trick more kids into going to Colorado. God bless you. You're an idiot if you go there.
Now, try it again, David.
No, you're right. And mine leans in the same direction as yours, and it's a father and the sons. It was the Ball family. Because the father spoke and talked so much, I wanted them all to fail. And then I think we've seen what happened with a few of them, injuries, but I never wished injuries.
One just got the sweet back tattoo because, stuff and things.
Well, that has no bearing on LaMelo Ball's future. I mean, I don't care. He can do whatever he wants.
But I hope he fails because of what his father
All
done.
right. Well, he's a Hornet, so that's probably baked into that. I think the thing that offends me most is that Deion is not really a coach, and I'm bummed out by that. And I don't even mean it as in the CEO of operations. Like, when you don't go on recruiting trips, when you've punted all responsibility, and when you are basically now churning through kids and then throwing them under the bus, bro, you brought them in.
Right.
These were your hires. Like,
Right.
firing Sean Lewis midstream last year was asinine.
Because your son was losing games. It's like, or maybe you shouldn't just anoint your son the quarterback and actually go out and recruit a real quarterback.
Well, Shadur's good.
He's good, but Shador walked on water, according to
Well,
Deion.
that's the problem. Right there. You're responsible for 85 scholarship athletes. And it is tricky to have your own kid play for you. Generally, the coach is harder on his own son than the other players.
Right.
This is a different thing.
Right.
Yeah, I have no problem with your hate being directed that way. I'm very disappointed because I want the Deion thing to work because it is different and I like different. I am growing a level of
Disdain.
yeah, because I think
Come on over, Mike.
no, I think it's laughable how he's approaching it. And it's I don't mind if it's not cocky if you back it up. But when you go 4-8 and you churned assistants and you churned players, now you're slandering guys who are like, man, the guy never tried to get to know me. And you're like, I don't even know who the hell you are. Like, dude, you're not on the playing field.
Right.
You're supposed to be an adult father figure to these players.
Right there. You were supposed to be the adult. You're supposed to pull your son around and say, hey, everybody is watching you. You want to go to the NFL next year? Stop doing dumb things because this will come back and you're going to have to explain all this action. No, you know what? How about a double down and we'll tag team and go after this guy in social media?